Your HR department just sent you an email with a subject line that's designed to make you feel taken care of. You skim it, you feel a little spike of gratitude, and you move on with your day. Nobody in that email mentioned the part that should actually worry you. My name is Horizon, and I want to talk about the most beloved sentence in personal finance. Always get your full employer match. Because in 2026, that advice is starting to come with an asterisk nobody's reading. This isn't a video telling you to skip your match. It's a video about the trap quietly built into how that match gets delivered, and why the people who trust it the most are the ones most exposed. Let's start with Marcus. Marcus is 34, works in logistics, and has done everything the personal finance internet told him to do. He contributes enough to get his full 6% match. He hasn't touched the account in years. He thinks of it as the safest part of his financial life, the one piece of the puzzle he doesn't have to think about. Now meet Priya. Priya is 29, works at a tech company that just announced a more competitive retirement benefit. Same idea, shinier packaging. Both of them think they're doing the responsible thing. Both of them are about to find out the match isn't quite what they think it is. Here's the quiet shift nobody's talking about. For decades, the standard employer match was simple. Your company puts cash into your 401k, dollar for dollar or 50 cents on the dollar, up to a percentage of your salary. Boring, predictable, yours. But starting in the last couple of years, a growing number of companies have shifted that match into what's called a true-up, or, more aggressively, an annual lump sum contribution instead of a per-paycheck one. Sounds like a technicality. It is not. Here's why it matters. If your match only arrives once a year in one lump sum and you leave your job, get laid off, get a better offer, get fired in a restructuring before that date, you can walk away with zero match for the entire year. Not partial. Zero. Companies aren't hiding this. It's disclosed in the plan documents nobody reads, in language so dry it could put a lawyer to sleep. And in 2025 alone, several major employers quietly moved to this structure, citing administrative efficiency. What they didn't put in the press release is that this same structure happens to save the company money every single time an employee leaves before the magic date. Now hold that thought, because there's a second piece of this trap, and it's the one that actually keeps me up at night. It's called vesting, and most people think they understand it. They don't. Vesting is the schedule that determines when the employer's contributions actually become yours. Your own contributions are always 100% yours, immediately, no questions asked. But the match, the free money everyone's so excited about, often isn't free until you've stuck around long enough. Some plans vest immediately. A lot of plans vest over 3 to 6 years on a graded or cliff schedule. A cliff schedule means exactly what it sounds like: 0% vested for years. Then on one specific day, you cross the line and it's suddenly 100% yours. Leave one day before that line and every dollar your employer ever contributed evaporates. Not slowly, instantly, legally, completely allowed. So picture Marcus again. He's been at his company 3 years. He assumes the number on his 401k statement is his number. It is not. If his plan runs on a 4-year cliff and he takes a better job in year 3, he's about to discover that a meaningful chunk of that account balance was never actually his to keep. And here's the part that turns this from inconvenient into genuinely dangerous. The same economy that's pushing companies toward longer vesting schedules and lump sum matches is also the economy producing record job switching and layoff waves. According to recent labor data, the median tenure at a job for workers in their late 20s and 30s has been shrinking, not growing. We are living in the most job-mobile period in decades, at exactly the moment employers are quietly redesigning their retirement benefits to reward people for staying put. That's not a coincidence. That's an incentive structure, and you're the one absorbing the risk on the other end of it. This is where Priya's story gets interesting. Her new company's more competitive match sounded incredible on the offer letter, dollar for dollar up to 8%, way above the old industry standard of 3 to 4%. What the recruiter didn't walk her through is that the plan vests over 5 years, with nothing vesting at all until year 2. She's choosing between an exciting opportunity and a benefit that only pays out if she stays in one of the fastest-moving industries in the country for half a decade. Nobody told her that trade-off existed. She just saw the bigger number and assumed bigger meant better. So why does this happen? It's not some grand conspiracy. It's something simpler and, in a way, more human. Companies are managing cash flow and retention at the same time, and your retirement account happens to be the lever sitting closest to their hand. A lump sum match paid out once a year, fully vested only after a multi-year cliff, costs the company less in expectation than the boring old per paycheck, fast vesting match did. Multiply that savings across a workforce of thousands, and you understand exactly why the structure is spreading. Nobody designed this to hurt you specifically. They designed it to be efficient, and efficiency for them quietly became risk for you. Now, I want to be fair here, because the match itself genuinely isn't a trap in the simple sense. Even with the worst-case vesting schedule, if you stay long enough to vest, that money is still free money, still one of the best guaranteed returns available anywhere in personal finance. A 50% or 100% instant return on contribution is not something you find anywhere else, not in stocks, not in real estate, nowhere. The advice to contribute enough to get the match remains correct. What's changed is that the advice used to come with zero homework attached, and now it quietly comes with 3 questions you actually have to answer. When does this vest? Is it per paycheck or lump sum? And what happens to unvested money if I leave? Most people have never looked up the answer to a single one of those questions about their own plan. It's sitting in a document called the Summary Plan Description, which your HR department is legally required to give you, and which approximately nobody asks for. So here's what actually changes the equation for someone like Marcus or Priya. It's not don't take the match. It's know your number before you make a decision that touches it. If you're job hunting and comparing offers, the vesting schedule belongs in the same conversation as salary and bonus, because a flashy match with a 5-year cliff might be worth less to you than a smaller match that vests immediately, depending on how long you actually expect to stay. If you're already mid-vesting schedule and considering leaving, that cliff date is now a real financial deadline, the same way a contract end date would be. Waiting 8 weeks to hit a vesting milestone can be worth thousands of dollars sitting right there for the taking, and most people never even check. And if you're the type who likes to actually understand this stuff instead of guessing, this is exactly the kind of thing I dig into with the people in my school community, pulling apart the fine print companies bury in plan documents and figuring out what it actually means for your money. The link's down in the description if that's useful to you. No pressure, the rest of this stands on its own. Back to it, because here's the closing thought I want you to sit with. The 401k match earned its reputation as the single safest piece of advice in personal finance because for a long time it basically was. Free money, simple rules, no fine print that mattered. That world is quietly changing underneath people who still think they're operating by the old rules. The match isn't a scam. It's not disappearing. But the assumption that it's unconditional, that it's already yours the moment it lands on a statement, is the exact kind of quiet, boring assumption that costs people real money precisely because nobody bothers to question it. Marcus still doesn't know his vesting date. Priya still hasn't read her plan documents. Neither will most people watching this, not because they don't care, but because nobody ever told them there was something to look up in the first place. Now you know. Go find your number. If you want more of this, the quiet mechanics hiding inside the financial decisions everyone assumes are simple, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the things that actually cost you money are almost never the loud ones. They're the ones buried in a document you were never told to read.